Get ready to innovate and organize your workspace with Metro. As the industry leader in storage and distribution systems, Metro is here to transform and organize your kitchen. With their premium solutions, you'll experience the Metro difference. Metro's sturdy and versatile shelving units, workstations, holding cabinets, and utility carts are designed to streamline operations and maximize your productivity. Don't settle for imitators. Metro products last longer and offer unparalleled quality and durability. Plus, the many customization options ensure that your space is tailored to your unique needs. Hey, we use them here at Walk and Talk. Say goodbye to chaos and hello to order with Metro Shelving. Visit their website or contact them today to start designing your perfect space. Metro Shelving, your partner in organization and efficiency. Hello, Food Fam. This is the Walk and Talk podcast, where you will find the perfect blend of food, fun, and cooking knowledge. I'm your host, Carl Fiadini. Welcome to the #1 food podcast in the country. We're recording on site at Ibis Images Studios, where food photography comes alive, and I get to eat it. First things first, last week on the show, we had Michelle Miller, a.k.a. The Farm Babe. Where we got into some very zesty convo about misleading labels. Too GMO or not too GMO? That is the question. Go back and listen. Our guest this week is Tampa local chef Rosana Rivera. From entrepreneur to restaurateur, she's done it all. Plus, Chef Rosana has been featured in dozens of magazines and articles, not to mention the granddaddy of them all, beating Bobby Flay and her husband, by the way, on national TV. Stay tuned. Chef Rivera is on deck. Jefferson, we are deeply embedded in this social media rat race. We're putting in the hard work and, we're trying to claw our way up. Today, we're going to get into how something like winning a TV show competition, a national one, can help improve your visibility and ultimately your business. By the way, we've been using our Metro mobile prep cart, and it is badass. We have video coming out today. Chefs, if you're planning on reorganizing your kitchen, be sure to contact our friends at Metro, your partner in organization and efficiency. Jeff, pop the clutch, baby. Pre-shift. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Father's Day coming up, so I wanted to do something, pay homage to being outdoors. It's nice and a lot more warmer in Florida, but other places around the country, they're defrosting over the spring and all that, so that's the time to start grilling. So I did a riff on a coq au vin. Coq au vin is very traditional, like a stewed or braised chicken dish, and it goes right from the get-go, but I actually smoke the chicken first, then added in the bacon, onions, wine, and then braise the chicken that way. We have that being served with a little bit of potato puree, a little bit of contrast in that as well. And let me just tell you, John and RAK Porcelain Dishes, they just did a phenomenal job with that today. And then we have the 2-pound ribeye. That's right, 2-pound ribeye. And then I encrusted that with Sweetwater coffee and let it sit there for at least a day just to get real nice and gel together as far as the meat was concerned. What happens when you do that in your refrigeration, it's a dehydrator, so it actually dehydrates, causes that bark to get crispy and crunchy on there. So it penetrates the meat. So it's absolutely just full flavored of coffee, especially coming from Sweetwater Coffee. Larry does a great job over there with his roasting abilities. And then we serve that with bone marrow butter compound with a pecan.
Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, that was a little bit bone marrow. You had to take some butter, get it to room temperature, had some macadamia nuts, added those pecans, a little brie, and then put it all together on top and let it crust over at about 400 degrees to get that really nice flavor profile. And then we served that just on its plate on its own, sliced up some, and then used a red wine reduction, and then just hit a little bit of that au jus in there too as well. And it was pretty stellar, actually.
I can't wait to eat. We're
I
doing
love how
these,
today happened.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, so the audience doesn't know, or maybe some of them do, but typically we cook first and then podcast. And I don't know, a few months ago, we started kind of, experimenting with this podcast first, cook after. And it's not bad. I like it. But I tell you what, as we're sitting here doing the show, and my stomach is like saying, "Hey, what's going on? Like, what are we doing here?"
Not John. John ate.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Good for you guys.
I know that John did. I picked.
Do people understand what I have to go through with you two? I don't think they do.
Oh no, they do. They completely understand. They see the behind the scenes.
Do they really? No, they don't. They don't see the real. What we need to do is like put some real live cameras 100% of the time, and then they're gonna know. Then they're gonna know.
They're gonna see that John works his butt off.
All right. So this 2-pound piece of meat.
That was ridiculous.
I know it looks.
It's obscene.
It's sitting. It's right there. It's like a few arm lengths away, and I'm fixing to just like hang up the headphones and just get out of here.
I hear you. And then, you can't forget about the T-bone.
No, you can never forget about the T-bone.
The T-bone has papaya in there, and then lychees are in season.
So talk about the lychees. Those are like so for the foodies, right? They look like marbles.
Yeah,
right? Little pearl marbles.
They're also known as dragon's eyes because of the way when you bite into it, it has the pit in the middle of it, like a stone fruit.
Where's it come from?
Lychees. It's indigenous here in Florida. It's subtropical, but it's known to be light. Yeah, lychee, the nut.
Yeah.
So it's from the lychee tree.
Right.
And it's got a real good texture. When they're ripe, they have a real sweet texture. But if they're not, they have a little bit of sourness to them. And so I got lychee poppers, which is like the caviar. And you put it with the papaya that I made with the salsa.
Growing up in South Florida, Richard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Richard, he and I have been friends since like 1983. And, his family's, he's Japanese. They had a lychee tree, and it was humongous. And, we would be off weekend or whatever. We would climb the tree, sit in the tree, and just crack lychee nuts and eat lychee nuts right fresh from the tree. And wow, that was just an amazing, and this is like a pretty rural area.
Well, 83, there was probably nothing.
Yeah, it was just the orange groves and the dairy farms and stuff like that out there, cattle ranch, all that. And so that was just that kind of living. It was really great. Really great. That's my experience with, my fond memories of lychee nuts.
The funny thing is when I look to try to like compare what was not only the holiday coming up, but what was in season in Florida, lychee, papaya, they all popped up. And I'm like, I've never done lychee in a steak or on a steak, and never done papaya, even though papaya is known as for a meat tenderizer and be beautiful. So I just put the two together and let me see what it's going to be like. And it actually works really well.
That wasn't that wasn't the salsa, was it? Was that the salsa?
Yeah, the papaya salsa.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Oh my
God. The onions came from my garden because the onions are now finally there.
Your secret garden.
Yeah. The garden's also going to have this month, garlic. June, I'll have garlic coming in. I had tomatoes, so I threw that up. My neighbor has the papayas, so put it all together. Boom.
Well, as usual, foodie people, photos are coming. John, of course, you know what to expect. Beautiful stuff. Today, it's a little bit of a treat, right? And I'm going to bring Chef Rosana on here in a second, but she's cooking too. And, so it's not going to be just Jefferson's food today. It's extra. And I think
I'm happy.
I think that's fantastic.
Because I heard empanadas.
Yeah, man. Well, these are the Bobby Flay empanadas. Okay, these are the ones that beat that dude. Okay. Right? So,
look at that. Thank God there's a camera right on her right now because she's got a smile like a little kid.
So do I. All right. Chef Rosana, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm here giggling.
We do that.
Like I said before, remember all of the pre-stuff that you saw leading up to this, it's to get you in the right frame of mind. That's what we do.
I can see it now.
That's what we do.
I love it.
It's our shtick.
This is the green room prep.
That's green room prep. Exactly. We get you ready for the shenanigans that go on in this show. Let's take a second, if you could. How about an airplane view of who you are and where you come from and how did you make it here? Like how did you get here today? You know what I mean?
The car right there.
So I'll take you on a very quick journey, starting, I'm born and raised in Puerto Rico from the countryside. So that's on the southwestern side of the island, very small town. Grew up in a background where food is essential in life and the center of our home, and surrounded by all sorts of trees, of everything that you get in the island. I come from a family of farmers. I moved to the States around 2001 to New York. That's where I started my career in hospitality, not being a chef yet. And that was rough, just the culture change for me of coming from a small town to now being in the biggest city in the world. And with the same company, I asked for a transfer to Miami. So that's what really brings me to Florida. And I worked in corporate world for about 8 years while I was here. And I had just something inside. Food was my calling and not something I ever took seriously. So I kept gravitating towards it until one day I said, okay, enough. I'm going to see where this takes me. And started doing private chef for families. And little by little started growing the business. And that's when I enrolled in culinary school, put myself through culinary school, and started officially incorporated my first business 18 years ago this month. So started that journey of being an entrepreneur and, cooking for other people and defining what that business was like. Around 2012, I met my other half, whom you have already met, and we opened our first restaurant together. These two young entrepreneurs just going at it through life, and we opened a French restaurant and patisserie. We were very successful at it. It brought us a lot of notoriety here in Tampa. And
Piquant, right?
But yeah, it was called Piquant in Hyde Park Village. Mm-hmm. And when that chapter closed, we moved to our second restaurant, which was inside of a food hall called Silo Mexican. And that's when we received the call for Bobby Flay. And that was in 2019. So we went through the show. We're going to talk a little bit about it later, but it's not something you can reveal until they tell you that you can. And that happened in December of 2019. And, we'll talk a little bit more in detail later. It exploded, but, 3 months later, the whole world shut down. And with that, our restaurant shut down and we changed formats. So that brings me to today, 4 years post-pandemic. We have two businesses. One of them is Chef Rosana. What came out of the show and pandemic was becoming my own brand. And with that, I do luxury catering and events. And along with Chef Ricardo, then I have a Chef and the Baker, which is more your daily sustenance, savory foods and a lot of bakery.
Walk and Talk podcast, now sweetened by Noble Citrus. Bite into a juicy crunch tangerine, 40 years perfected, seedless and oh so tasty. Or savor a starburst pomelo, the giant citrus with a unique zing. Don't miss autumn honey tangerines, big and easy to peel. Noble, generations of citrus expertise, delivering exceptional flavor year-round. Taste the difference with Noble Citrus. So when you said that you came to Miami in a corporate capacity. What were you doing then?
I was in sales and marketing, in creating conventions and hospitality and events for trade shows, essentially. So handling that part of being in a trade show. And it could be XYZ. Sometimes it was a luxury jewelry trade show, but sometimes it was something else. So it was managing and putting together all the hospitality component of it. And I used to travel to Latin America a lot with the same purpose, putting together conventions.
So that's interesting. You were inadvertently in the business already, or connected to the business very much.
Absolutely, yeah. And
then the desire from within, and that's from family and heritage and everything, kind of drove you into the realm of, hey, I want to go to culinary school.
Definitely, in Puerto Rico, we hustle. Growing up in an island, you have your career, but it's very acceptable that you have a side job. I think, Florida has something similar with the cottage law, but over there, it's you can just open anything. So growing up, my mom and I used to cater and the things that people don't cook at their house.
It can't all just be mofongo.
No,
it can't all just be mofongo.
Everybody can make their mofongo. So we would specialize on the things that people didn't make. And honestly, a lot of French items, believe it or not. So a lot of appetizers, different things that people wouldn't necessarily make at home. Anybody makes arroz con gandules or lechon. So it wasn't that. It was what was different. What you couldn't get in the island, essentially. But that was very easy to do there without being formal, without going to a culinary school or opening a formal business. In here, it's a different story. So that I wanted that formality, I wanted that education and confidence. And that's what led me to, if I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, I want to do it well.
How did the Food Network know about you? Like, how did you get that call? Like, is that something where you submitted and then they found you, or how did that?
So you can apply to the show, and I think now with social media, it's a little bit easier to find on these shows who's the casting agent. I want to say a few years ago, maybe it was a little bit more obscure unless you're subscribed to getting newsletters from a casting agency. And if we have anybody listening and you want to go into a show, that's a great way. Just search for your favorite shows, who the agent is. And normally on their website, you can apply if it's the season, if the season is open. But in our case, we got an email, and I thought it was a joke, a scam. So I left it in my inbox for about a week until one night I said, let me Google and see who this person is. And she popped up on LinkedIn, and I said, okay, this is the agency. Then you look up who this agency is. And then I realized, oh, wait, they cast all of Bobby Flay shows, so this is not a scam. And I responded to that email.
Did you immediately start sweating?
I did. Ricardo, no. He's a ham. But I get anxiety when I'm in that, spotlight's on me.
Well, I was speaking with Ricardo for maybe 15 minutes, and he's the most laid-back, cool cat I think I've ever met.
Yeah. He is zero ego, but he's very confident in that realm of TV. So it was good to have him, to boost my confidence in that, because you're out of your element. As chefs, we're used to hiding in the kitchen. That's our safe space. And all of a sudden you're thrown into the spotlight, cameras on you. It's not as easy.
Yeah. And how this all works, right? I mean, first of all, in on that show, you nationally got to beat Bobby Flay, but I think more importantly, you got to beat hubby.
Yes.
Right? For me, I think that's because if I were in a situation like that and it was me and my wife and I got to beat my wife like that, and I think I would walk around a mile high every day. I don't know. It's gotta be almost better than beating Bobby, right?
Oh, no.
No? Okay.
No, nothing beats Bobby, beating Bobby.
All right.
But I think, Ricardo and I are definitely partners in life and in business. So when we didn't necessarily both apply at the same time. I think at that point in time, they were probably looking for a female, and my name came up, having some recognition in our area. So when I finally answered the casting agent and she listened to our story, they don't assume that you own your business or that you're the main chef, so that you go through all these questions. And when they hear the story, no, I own a business with my husband and he happens to be a chef. Something clicked on their side, would he be willing? And I'm like, of course he would be willing, to be.
I get that from him too.
Yeah.
Well, to be 100%. On the show.
And I get, like, if I were the agent and I'm looking at the paper and I'm like, oh man, my gears are already spinning. Like, this is great TV. That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they crafted this episode, and you don't know if it's, until you know that it's going to happen that way. But what they presented to the producer of the episode and then eventually to the network is, we have this couple out of Tampa. They cook together. They have a business together and they're competing. So they created, if you look up the show, it's a couples episode. So at first I thought this is going to air in Valentine's probably. And it didn't, and ended up airing in Christmas during the holiday. And then they brought in another couple to be the host, challenging Bobby, which is Ali Tila and Jet Tila. And they're amazing. Another, great couple story. So they made everything about the episode to be very inclusive, to be very much about our heritage, both being from Puerto Rico. So it was just a lovely experience.
Okay. So you do the show, you win. And granted, it was, ground zero for COVID and the whole thing. It still changed your life.
It did, absolutely. And I want to say these shows give you a platform to jumpstart your career, maybe get ahead, but you have to make the most out of it. And I have made the most out of being on the show and everything that comes with it. It's a marketing power, Bobby Flay, and they do a great job at giving you that platform. He presents the show as a show from a chef for chefs, and that is very real. But when you come back from it, you do have some time to prepare. And Ricardo and I sat down and we made our own personal financial investment in promoting it, in doing hiring a PR agency, into drafting press releases, the things that you do for your own business. So we really wanted to take the opportunity that was given to us and make the most out of it.
Do you want to learn more about wine?
Or do you just want to feel a little more comfortable ordering a bottle in your favorite restaurant?
Or do you just need something to make you laugh on the way to work?
I'm Joel, and I'm here with Colin and Aaron on the Stop Wasting Your Wine podcast.
We're three longtime buddies on a mission to make wine fun and approachable. Wine can be intimidating, confusing, and judgy, and we're here to help. Each week, we're diving into the world of wine and helping you find the best bottles while staying within your budget. So grab a glass and let's turn your wine woes into wine wows.
Wow, that was bad. Join Stop Wasting Your Wine on our wine journey and listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
And I think that's where things get super interesting. Obviously, we're a food media company, and we're not that social media is our driver. Our content for Apple and Spotify, and that's our driver. But of course, we have to play in the social media, sandbox, and the work that's involved in promoting yourself on social media in order to get just a little bit extra, eyeballs on what you're doing. It's an incredible amount of work, and so let me just stop for a second. I got a text earlier that said, "Hey, we're running late today because we had a cooler go down, an AC unit went down, and hey, hashtag, chef life." And I'm like, "I totally get it. I totally understand." And then you show up here, not even breaking a sweat. It's so, this is what we do. So the life in the kitchen, incredibly difficult. A restaurateur life, Jeff, it's almost impossible. And now you guys, how you really went into overdrive on your social media life because I remember we had never met, but I remember seeing you back then, when you beat Bobby, and then seeing you on LinkedIn and seeing you all over the place, I beat Bobby. And I was like, wow, that's pretty badass.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been a 4-year journey, just to give our listeners a little bit perspective. I think before I went on the show, I had probably in the range of 1,800 followers. And my biggest platform is Instagram. Now, 4 years later, almost 5, I think I'm about to hit 40,000. So it does give you the platform, but I'm an introvert and I'm very shy. So putting the tag there, these were all recommendations from the investment that we made. It's like, you're your only loudspeaker. Nobody's going to be that loudspeaker for you. And I went through about a 3-month period where like my life is going to be out there, making my own Instagram page. Before then, it used to be private. You had to request me. So, that those changes do come with it, and you have to be willing and put your best foot forward every day and experiment with different things.
Is it worth it?
It is, absolutely.
Well, she's got a brand. That's why. So
But she created the brand was almost formed out of social media and network TV, right?
Well, it came from before that, though, because she had already realized it and they were planning on it. But she's a smart restaurateur. When I did consulting for my previous employer, and still to this day, you always hear what's the first thing that owners get rid of. I'm not making money. They get rid of marketing. It's the first one. And that's the dumbest, stupidest move, because when you get rid of marketing, how are you going to have people in your seats? Because the most expensive seat in your entire restaurant is the empty one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's free advice, by the way.
There's very good advice. Yeah.
There's a general short-sightedness.
Did you just see the hand little golf clap from Silent John?
Well, there's a general short-sightedness from companies at large. When that, like, I've seen companies cut their marketing department, their sales department. Like, what are you doing? That's what gets you out there. In today's world, everything is a video. Everything is a post. And if you're not, or a story or something, and if you're not doing that, you're behind everybody else who is. And I don't care what your sales team look like, physical sales team looks like. You can do a lot. Obviously, you're still knocking on doors and you're still getting in front of your client. But the reality is, all of the social media is working when you're not, and you need it to happen.
And what does it cost you?
I agree with, and I want to make people think, you have to hire somebody that invest, in order to do that. We hired someone for the period of time that we were going to launch and spread the news that we had been on the show, and eventually that we won. I still manage all my social media myself. I do have someone that helps me, creating videos, the things that take time that I don't have the time to do. But for years, it was just me creating the content. Ricardo does the same thing. He creates his own content too. It's about being authentic. I read a lot, because the trends in social media change so quickly. So I'm always immersed in, whether it's a newsletter that I'm subscribed to and I receive on a daily basis, to read on what can you do, trends and topics that have to do with marketing and social media. Because I'm a chef, I'm not a marketer. Now, I wouldn't consider myself an influencer. That's a full-time job. I don't have the time to put myself out there and create amazing content to become an influencer. At the end of the day, I'm a chef and I run a business. So I always experiment with what information I put out there on social media. That's time. We can afford the time.
I think that's the number one thing with chefs is it's the time factor.
Yeah.
It's how much time do I have to do this? But they also think they don't have the time to do it when they have every one of their employees is on the line looking at their phone. Might as well take the phone out and take a video.
Yeah, and that's something that, for example, that's something that we have done. If you're going to use your phone and take video, post it, tag us. Right. Become a part of our own community. Like they post on Chef and tag Chef and the Baker or tag me, and then I choose, do I want this content that an employee posted? And more than likely, 90% of the time, I do repost it. Or if not, I teach them, hey, next time I would love to put it on my page, but can we do something a little bit different, that it's more on brand with how I post things.
Back in the day when I was in the restaurant business and, the period of time when I was, front of the house server, right? If that were today, because I was fortunate to have built a pretty strong call party clientele, Friday, Saturday night, everybody comes, asks for you, whatever. If that were today, and I was a bartender or server, something like that, oh my goodness, I can't imagine. And I don't see a lot of that. I see some bartenders who, take advantage a little bit of social media, but I don't see any servers really doing that. And I feel like that is such a huge, if you're good at what you do, and you already have a nice following of people, if you enhanced that Oh my goodness. You would be the one in town making all the money.
And to validate your point, we're losing the art of serving at a table. And I think if more people out there expose their craft, I think it would motivate younger people to say, oh, I can have a career in this. Because we're definitely losing that. I don't want to lose. It's not something I want to see in our industry that we lose entirely.
Well, that was part of the conversation Ricardo and I were having, which was, where is the service? You go to a restaurant and you're obviously, price points are up everywhere and costs are up everywhere. And at the end, you 3 people go out to eat and it's $250, and that never was, and not unless it was a very elevated high end place. Now it's like your local pub. You're spending $200 on a check. It's crazy. Where's the service that matches the your bill? And it gets dicey. Obviously, I get it. A lot of my friends own restaurants. A lot of my friends are chefs in those restaurants. I see it. I get it. We're all trying to make it happen. But I'll tell you what, the front of the house really took a hit. The service levels are not what they were, pre 2019.
Well, it's a combination of different things. Whether we're trying to get the right person to be that server. And it's also the guests that are coming in. They demand a certain. Well, you have to earn respect, but you can't demand it.
Right.
That's for sure. But I think the flip side of the things too is that not only did we lose service, but we lost the experience straight up. And that's one of the reasons why I came up with the Farmer's Crable dinners, because I wanted to get back to the theme behind why we went out. Because most of the time we would go out, it was because it was think about it. Back in the day, it was Tropical Steakhouse off of Griffin Road.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Why would you go to that? It was a destination for like a birthday and anniversary.
Yeah.
That was when going out to eat was going out to eat. Then it became, because life got so hectic every day, then it became, let's go out to eat. Well, I don't want to cook. Let's go out to eat here. Where are we going to go? We've lost the whole convolutity of what things are supposed to be in the restaurant industry. And we have to get back to that. And there are chefs that are doing it. Chefs aren't. It's tough because you saw it at the show. How many robots did you see at the show?
Several.
Not just literally fry robots.
Right.
Picking up the fryer and dump. That was the burger one.
Yeah.
So that was when you first walked into, so there was, just so everyone realized, 760,000 square feet. For Pooch and I to run into Rosana and her husband, Ricardo, was like by accident. Twice.
No. There is no. It was meant to be.
It was a happy accident.
It was meant to be.
But right across the way from where Citrus America was, there was another robot that was picking up fry baskets and dumping the fryer out. And then there was that one you were talking about that is literally in the front, that people were ordering their food,
Jeff,
and doing it.
I just want you to realize that they have the AI co-host to watch your step. I'm just saying, watch your step, watch your six.
Okay, well, you know what? I got it. Yeah, but they're not going to be able to cook.
All right, true story. But I'm going to get that burger flipper.
That's fine. Get him for me. I don't want to turn to burgers anymore. I got more important things to do than that.
I'm kidding. I'm madly in love with you, Matt. I'm just joking. So I'm on chefrosana.com, one in, and like your food is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Your food is so beautiful, and so I kind of really can't wait to jump into some of these empanadas and the other stuff.
Meanwhile, John's looking over your shoulder, looking. I know how beautiful they are.
He was pointing at the looks like apple cobbler or something like that, but maybe not, something like that. Looks fantastic. All right, so social media. We got off track for a minute. I want to go back to social media. What effort, if you were going to give advice to a chef, a restaurateur, somebody who listen, there's a lot of stale eateries around town, stale. And I think you know what I mean. It's just flat. They're not changing their menus out. They're not updating anything. It's stale. Some of them know it and some of them don't. But if you were going to give advice to some of these establishments and those people, how do they take social media, by the collar and make it work for them?
So I think it starts with prioritizing it. And, you know, to your point, what you were saying, that's the first thing people cut out of budgets. Again, something you can do for very little or even for free. So sometimes, you know, we've recommended to our industry peers, if they don't have someone, we're hiring Gen Zs and millennials at our restaurants. They're the prime segment that understands it even better than I do. And I do a lot of social media. Grab one of your servers. It could be a bartender. It could even be a cook. We have a customer and friend in Maryland that their lead cook went viral on TikTok, just posting, making birria at the restaurant. Take advantage of something like that. And that's the person maybe that they're spearheading for whatever amount of time. And then you put boundaries. We're going to do it on Mondays from this time to this time. And then see where that takes you. You know, social media is a good place to experiment what works for you. But if you have, whether it's you do a lot of LTOs or you change your menu a lot, those are great things to highlight. Your staples. People forget that if you have an identity, people are going to come to your restaurant because they want to eat that, whatever that is. And those are things that should be highlighted in social media. It could be, you know, how do we make it? Why is this dish special? You know, but I would recommend that designate one person that could take this project on for your restaurant or business, and then let them run with it.
What I want to know, and I said this earlier to Evan, I said that John and Evan should do still and video how-tos on 100%. on your smartphone for food.
100%.
You know, just basic stuff, just to have the best, content that you can in just trying to promote yourself. You know,
well, not only that, they can actually help out other people that want it, like chefs that don't. I mean, back in the day, it was like flip your phone upside down. That's the way to take the video. Now it's like you can do it or not.
Well, here's the thing. I don't even think John has to talk. I think he do. Seriously. Well, so Silent John is his street name.
Not everybody has a John with that amazing photography. For sure, he's special.
Yeah, he doesn't talk a lot, but he does great work. So,
yes.
but like in today's world, you can set it up to where
you can do voiceover.
You can even do voiceover.
Not John. Somebody else can do the voice.
Yeah, well, you can hire me. I'll do your voiceover. You know.
And then don't forget, we also have tools today that did not exist a few years ago. We use AI as well, especially to write our captions, and it's a time saver. Of course, we go back and edit and probably shorten it because sometimes, you know, it spits out a lot. But it's another great way to just get something out the door and post very quickly.
I love AI for that reason.
Yeah.
For us, for me, for when we're publishing, it saves me hours. Mm-hmm. You have to go back in and you have to change some stuff around. You know, you have to make it yours, you know, so to speak. But man, does it save time?
Everyone thought I used AI to finish my book. I was like, no.
Didn't you use AI to do the whole thing?
No.
Okay, I'm only kidding.
I did not.
No. Aren't you using AI to cook your meals?
No, recipes. I'm actually having AI develop the recipes.
You know, because I look up some of the stuff you're cooking, and I'm like,
Dauphine.
Yeah, Dauphine, and you know, and then you know, picture you shows up, and there's your recipe. That's
right.
Weird.
So it's funny. We're talking about content, and I did a behind the scenes, and I wanted to get a little bit more entrenched in the video, and I've never done it. And I have an 11-year-old. And you just mentioned, you know, get your millennial, get your Gen Z. Well, I don't know what they are, like the alphabet one, I think, whatever generation now they are.
It's the next one.
Yeah.
It's a letter. Let's put it that way.
It's A, whatever.
Generation Martian, dude. I don't know, man.
So I'm like, I go to do something in her room. I come back and she's fiddling with it. And I go, what's wrong? She's like, well, this one here and then moved here. And she was like all professional the way she was talking to me. She's like, it didn't make sense to me, but you know, then I redid it and I looked at it. It's fine. So I was like, oh, I got the 11-year-old's approval. So let me go ahead and do it. So that's what we need to do is go to your, because listen, you said it earlier, Carl, you said it earlier, your kid, that's all they're doing is looking at the phone.
Oh my God.
Every second. So they know. And my daughter's like the wicked fast. She'll look at something like, boom, Like, boom. I'm like, how did you like that? Not even, it's only like a second.
Yeah, that's what they do all the time. Yeah, and they can filter content very quickly because that's what they're used to doing. So they'll know very quickly, oh, this picture is good, this video is good. And if not, they know how to pass it along.
So that's what you need help with, John. Because John and I were talking earlier about he's got beautiful photography that he posts on his IBIS imaging. And that's his go-to, IG. And he's like, but I don't get traction. I'm like, yeah, you got to do something different. You got to stand out and like, just give it to an 11-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I do have one last advice, which I think it's appropriate with what we're doing right now, is to hire interns. We have great universities in the area that we're in. And if we have listeners out in the world or other states, look up your local university. They have great marketing programs. And these are kids that need experience and that want to experiment and that you don't have to pay them a lot. So we do have an intern from USF, from one of the marketing programs there, and it's huge help. We collaborate. I see the content. I approve it, change. Let's use AI for this or not. And then they make the postings. Ask me how long it takes her to make a reel versus how long it takes me to make a reel. That's a good conversation.
I can totally appreciate that.
I'm not even going to tell you what it took me to film and edit because Evan's already edited the 2-minute film that we did on Metro.
I know. He's in there. He works fast.
He's already there. I'm watching him. He's probably doing yours.
I'm saying he's probably onto some other project from some other whatever. But so the reality is I wake up super early. I get up around 3:30 in the morning. Yeah. And that's when I do my social media stuff. So 3:30, 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'm doing it for like an hour and a half a day, 2 hours a day, every day. Just to stay relevant out there with content.
Do you know that now that your phone just heard that, you're going to get all these ads now directed towards you for like later and Hootsuite.
Yes. Yeah, no, I get it.
Make it easier on yourself.
It's still not going to get dwarfed by the amount of cheeseburger ads that get put on there. That's what it is. That's how I get down. Rosana, what's next for you? What are you guys cooking up? What's
so much. I know. I think I tell Ricardo, I think we're serial entrepreneurs. Our minds never stop, but I think that's the DNA of all chefs that we know and us as chefs. It's our brain doesn't stop.
The good ones. Let's always stay.
Yeah, we're always pushing. We want to do something more. We want to do more. We want to be better. So we have a lot of things in the works. I can tell you that, since pandemic, we've been looking to going back to having a brick and mortar. Our location is a ghost kitchen and it's going to stay there. That's our backbone. But what we're looking to do is going back to having a small format and a beautiful space that people can come in and buy pastries or a savory item. On my end with luxury catering, I'm in a very happy place. I'm always either traveling to cook for a client or, doing a lot of fun things in our Tampa Bay region, which I truly enjoy. And every event is different. So I think that appeals to that brain that is always looking for constant change.
Or making paella at Savor St. Pete.
Yeah.
I can go.
That's how we met.
Yeah, paella.
Literally, that's how we met.
So you're doing the catering thing and you're doing these events. What I think we should do is put on do a walk and talk collab, and we do a Latin because it would be great to do a Latin themed one.
I know a little bit about Latin food.
You don't know anything.
Smidge.
You don't know nothing. Forget you. You're out. She's in. Right? No, but we do a Chef Rosana, walk and talk media collaboration where, we'll do maybe 5 courses. We'll knock off 1, maybe 2, right?
We can do 6. Huh? We can do 6, up to 6. I don't want to do more than 6.
Right. But anyway, what we do is we bring a lot of our industry friends and, other people who are in our kind of genre, right? And we have a blast. And then we bring the crew, we film everything, and we pump it out and have a great time. A lot of sponsors get involved in that, brands and companies and whatnot looking to get involved in it. We should do one together.
I agree. Let's do it. I'm game, and let's start planning.
We
Yeah.
already said that back in St. Pete.
I know.
Yes, we did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then Ricardo has to make dessert. That's the only caveat.
why I said
because I
6.
don't do
Okay.
desserts.
Hey, look, we're down. I'm down for all of that. Here's what
John
I'm,
probably wants flan, though.
but here's what I need.
Oh, his eyes open.
By the way, I saw somewhere somebody did a smoked flan, and it looked amazing. Like,
I'll do it.
Stupid.
I would try that.
I would. I want
Yeah.
that in my life.
That's one of the dishes that we were doing at the NRA show with Alto Sham was flan.
But
Not smoked, though, right?
No.
Yeah, you couldn't have
That's a
open
good
fire.
idea.
yeah.
Yeah, so Rationale was talking about how they wanted to smoke the meat prior because they have a smoking box they put in the Rationales. And they specifically said you cannot have open flame in the McCormick Center. So that makes sense.
Very, very fortunate. My wife is Cuban, and my mother-in-law is always making a flan. And oh my God, I'm so spoiled with that. Yeah, that's so good.
Wow.
Okay, it looks
You
like
just missed that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to bring.
What?
He wants flan.
Okay, I'll get you flan.
You won't be allowed in the studio next time.
Wow. Here's what I need to happen. Hold on. I have to. Amy Yee, I know you're listening. What I need you to do, Amy, can you text me and remind me of this? Because we're all going to forget everything I just
Really?
said.
You're going to use the listeners for that?
Yes.
You have a smartphone.
It's not smart at all.
You're not smart to use it. It's extremely smart.
My 8-year-old is almost ready, and I'll be putting her to work soon. But until that happens, I'm kind of
I can't wait till she's ready to work because then you and I are not his person.
Oh man, no, I'm gonna. She wants to work. She said, "Daddy, can I come?" I'm like, "No, not yet, not yet. Too soon."
You would have to be on your best behavior.
I know. I don't want to do that. It's going to ruin my whole reputation.
Every Thursday is going to be horrible now.
Yeah.
'Cause I got to have my kid with me. I got to behave myself.
How these production day for us? It's a drizzle of 11th grade. Okay, so we try to have fun. It's
I thought it was more like 12-year-old, not 12th grade or 11th grade. I thought it was like 11-year-old.
for you, yeah.
Oh, okay.
For me, I'm a little bit.
A little more. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh my God! All right, so Instagram. What's your handle?
At Chef Rosana Rivera.
Okay. John, what's your handle? No. Say it in the mic. Use the mic. It's there. I got it for you. What do you?
Ibis Images.
That's his voice, folks.
Wow.
That is.
You actually got him to actually speak.
I'm going to stop putting the mic there.
That's your word.
I should have given that to Ricardo and had him just go sit in the other room.
Oh, look, he said just go ahead.
Yeah?
That was it.
You
Just go
dirty.
ahead.
You dirty. All right. Chef, we sincerely appreciate you and hubby coming with us today, showing up here. We're now going to go and eat. You are going to cook. We're going to eat. We're going to get some footage of that. Stay tuned for the BTS because it's going to be bad ass. Chef, thank you for coming. Jeffrey, John, I'll get you some flan. Don't worry, baby. We got you. All right, we are Metro, baby. You got to get that Metro. And by the way, Chef Rosana brought a bunch of Metro. Like, she's got a Metro box and everything. I love it.
Yeah, it was really nice to see that.
I'm the biggest non-paid Metro fan.
I love it. Oh my God. We're Metro Unite. All right. We are out. Let me tell you about my friends over at Citrus America and their amazing juicing equipment. They're revolutionizing the way you enjoy freshly squeezed juice. They're at the best hotels, restaurants, and markets. Their mission is simple. Develop a unique consumer experience with on-premise juicing, deliver healthy taste options to clientele, and juice more faster. It's that easy. Citrus America supplies the highest quality juicing equipment and solutions in the industry. So whether you're a small business owner or a large corporation, Citrus America has the right juicing equipment for you. Find out more at citrusamerica.com.